And so political residents, it's been for they're right at the two.
Hey, Tim.
You want to pop up? I can tell you when do you?
Yeah, she needs to get back to class and she wants to stay as long as possible. But they did let her out. It's a requirement of this scholarship. It's that you attend the meeting.
She gets a scholarship today?
No, she got it.
Mike, how's it going? See you too. Yeah, doing real well. You're okay.
I got you. So what's it now?
So this is a gift.
All right. I got you.
And said, well,
Now, my folks here, I just saw Crumpler.
Mike O'Brien's here, Ed's here.
Tim's here. Hey, Tom. Almost not here. I guess I'll do the introduction.
And then we've been in Auburn in October for the last year. That's the same there. Very different. And so he's younger. It's the same program. I know that he just told me yesterday.
It stays here?
Yeah.
All right, so. I don't know.
Yes.
So I can get it.
Yeah, we
All world. That's why I was looking.
got the trash can. Howdy. When you get a chance, I need to. That thing you wanted me to show for Bob Hyde?
Yeah,
Was the link in the email?
yeah.
Okay, let me.
Did I email it to you?
I believe so. I have the email. I just have to pull it up. Here we go.
Where do you go?
Hopefully this thing loads up. Everybody gets to see my work email.
I don't have my glasses.
See, Joe sent it to me. Is it in here?
Go a little bit slower. Oh, that's email. I think
The Caring Bridge page?
Oh,
okay.
that's from yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I was. Oh, you don't have all that.
Did you send a password?
I didn't even sign it. I didn't know it was that. I thought it was just gonna be a page that, that we just opened it up. I didn't.
Okay.
I
Well, then
didn't
I
know
will-
it was I wouldn't worry about it.
I'll
Just
leave
let
it alone
family
then.
Rotary talk about it.
Okay.
Is Crumpler here?
And you said he's not doing well?
Yeah, it was some kind of surgery. He had a big heart attack last Thursday or Friday.
I saw that.
And so then he's scheduled for several surgeries this week.
I hate to hear that.
So open heart, I guess, is the first one, it's at 30.
President, my pleasure to introduce all of you, or to welcome all of you. I also want to acknowledge anyone we might have on Zoom. I haven't had a chance to look at the screen. Is there anybody behind me?
Jerry and
See some
Raul.
faces? Who do you see? Who do you see? Raul, is Alton Gates there? And Jerry.
Told Tim.
Say hi to Raul and Jerry. All right, guys. We're going to get our program started, and I've asked the folks that are on chat or on Zoom to mute their phones and their systems and to send us any questions or comments via the chat. Today's invocation will be offered by Mike O'Brien. I think I saw Mike. Would you mind coming up and helping us honor our country?
Thank you. Rotarians and guests, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for this Thanksgiving season. Doug Milne's beautiful talk last week. Just guide us as Rotarians to continue to do the great work in this community and abroad. Bless all our families as we get ready for the holiday season and travel, and be with us in the new 2025 as we do the great work of Rotary. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
That never gets old. He did an outstanding job last week. How many people were here in that presentation that we heard from Doug? It was outstanding. All right, Ed Pratt Daniels, I hope is in the house. Ed?
Yeah.
I see you there. Would you mind?
Please join
Leading
me
into the
in
pledge.
pledging allegiance to our flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You all can be seated. We're going to go directly into our pop-ups. I hope you all have been following the great westwards that AJ is doing
Yeah, go
on.
ahead.
Well, you see them on DAC DB, but you also get an email every week. So many exciting things are going on. The women of Rotary had a wonderful event at AJ's home 2 Saturdays ago. I want to thank Allie for all the work she did, Judy for being there with her daughter as well. We got some other exciting things going on. There were a bunch of us. How many folks were out collecting money last Saturday at that Chili Publix on Roosevelt? I know I was there. I was there late. Really? Chairman Emeritus of the Table of Sin, Jimmy Kelly was there. Really, Jimmy? Did you give money or take it?
Wow,
Is that right?
kind of tough, because I had to listen more to the dang thing, you know. They finally found the bell for it, we did fine.
I got there about 5:30 Saturday night and the kettle was packed with cash. So I want to thank everybody that participated in that. Now, you all know that we have no lunch meeting next Wednesday. It's the 11th of December. We're going to be here for the holiday party. It is going to be a bunch of fun. 6 p.m. Pemaquana Country Club, Wednesday, December 11th. And then there'll be no lunch meetings again until the 8th of January. So you're going to get about 3 weeks off to spend time with your families. If past President Dan Dodd, Dan, would you mind telling us a little bit about what we're going to do next week? And Brian London, make them feel welcome, guys.
It's like public spoke of 2 for 1.
So Brian's gonna talk a little bit about our opportunity to bring in toys for the community health organization show. Go ahead, Brian.
There's an opportunity to bring in toys for the community health organization. So, let me expand on that in just a moment. This is specifically for children ages 4 or younger, looking to fill the underneath of the Christmas tree for about 55 families. 3 representatives from show will be here at the holiday Christmas party, and we want to make it really special for them. A nice picture they can have of all the presents for their press release and good thing. So looking for about 3 to 4 presents, if you can bring it for children ages 4 and younger. And thank you very much. It'll be a great blessing for the community.
And if you don't have, we're all going to parties, so if you don't have an opportunity to be here, just know this, you can drop toys off at the show, which is right next to St. Peter's Church on Timaquana. They'd like you to spend $25 to $30, and don't buy 1 toy, buy 3 or 4 toys, that way they get a large number of them. The second part of the Christmas party, in keeping with the theme of Rotary this year, magic, we'll have a magician here performing magic in part of the room, so for your enjoyment during hors d'oeuvres and cocktails. So it should be a great party. Hope to see everybody there.
And as a friendly reminder, those gifts can be unwrapped. No need to wrap. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It's gonna be a fabulous party. Jimmy Kelly, past president, chairman emeritus, what do you have to say?
I just wanted, I'm not volunteering myself, but in lieu of the fact that Dale Chris is no longer coming to the meetings. He used to
See if I get
do, and
lucky.
I'll say it for him in the last, God's money to be a person. If you don't bring any gift, Don will go get this for you. And if you don't give him any money for the gifts, he should get up on the table next week and get naked.
Oh, boy. We're eating in here, Jimmy. All right, let's pull it together. Macy, you're here. You're our scholarship recipient. You are in nursing school at FSCJ. We have a gift for you. Why don't you come up here, introduce yourself, and tell everybody how much you appreciate all the money we give you. Is it a lot of money? You don't know?
Hello, everybody. I know I'm an unfamiliar face, but hopefully today I'm gonna make you a little bit more familiar. My name is Macy Begocious, kind of like the Thanksgiving Day Parade of the store, MACY. I am actually in dental hygiene, close to nursing, but still in the STEM field, so I hope that's okay. I'm in my first semester of dental hygiene school at FSCJ, and so far it's been such a wonderful program. It's been so I don't have the words to say, only because I'm so grateful for even just being accepted into the program. And I'm wonderful for even just standing up here today and seeing everybody who you are supporting me. You may not know me, but not only are you supporting me, but you're supporting everybody in our community in Jacksonville. We will be having a Give the Kids a Smile Day in January. So with helping me support my education, I will be able to give kids under 18 free sealants, x-rays, and restorations amongst Jacksonville. So that's something I'm very proud for. So it's not only just for me, but it's for everybody else. And I've always tried to give back to my community. I have been a Girl Scout for over 12 years. So that's been something that's been instilled in me since I was very, very young. I am a silver recipient, silver Girl Scout award. So that's also something that helps me in my background to be able to give back to my community. So I want to thank everybody. Thank you so much for supporting me, supporting Jacksonville, and for everything you guys do. I was listening for the Toys for Tots. That's also something I used to do in my church. I used to volunteer and give back to my community personally with giving kids these shoe boxes are about this big. We used to fill them with different kinds of toys, personal items, and hygiene items, which then comes back to my dental hygiene. So again, I want to thank everybody for backing me up. And it's not only just like a face-to-face communication, but you instill confidence in me that this is something I can do, and I know this is part of my destiny. So thank you so much.
Live. All right, everybody, I'm gonna turn things over now to Mike Crumpler. I saw Mike Crumpler. Mike, where you at? You're the biggest guy in the room. You're gonna, welcome our visiting Rotarians and just take care of the family of Rotary today, right? Come on up here.
You can go.
Thank you,
Watch out for the
President Tim.
cords. Thanks.
Feels pretty good being up here. It's been a while, but welcome Rotarians, visiting Rotarians, as distinguished guests and honored family members. We're so proud and so happy to have you with us. All of you, thank you so much for joining us. So give a big round of applause. Thank you so much. And I have the family of Rotary. You have a family of Rotary. Hey, Delmo, Delmo, welcome Delmo. It's wonderful to have you with us. I met Delmo. Okay. Delmo, wonderful, good for governor-elect. Be back next year. Be hosting you next year. And so, I had to come today, of course, to honor one of my old. Sean Mola. Happy to be here with Sean, and, I didn't want to forget, Sean, would like to introduce.
My name is Sean Muhammad, and I'm going to be talking to this. I have with us today, Ehas, who is the leading
Are you working?
CEO of Groundworks, who is leading the Emerald
Oh,
Hill project. So I'm going to give you a brief introduction, and then Hayes going to take you give a PowerPoint presentation and the open.
Thank you. Well, not to take over the duty for Sean, but I've known Sean for 30 years, and know he's a distinguished member of the Downtown Club, as well as a very successful businessman here in our community. And a lot of father. But I had to come and say, well, welcome, thank you. And as there are other, yeah, I forgot how to do this. It comes back. Oh, yes, ride the bike. Okay, I've had a lot of rest of it. Does anybody else have any visiting Rotarians? Alberta is a wonderful Alberta. Is that her name? Yeah, good to see you. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome. Always proud to have you. Always yeah, sit down. Yeah. RC Joe. That's his daddy, but okay, and then are there any guests, visiting guests? Visiting guests, or have you guests, anybody in your?
If you lose it, it's the.
All right, well, I've got
What?
to say,
You
we'll
lose
start off
audio,
on a
it's
happy note.
unplugged by your right.
And I
Okay.
always admired the younger generation. When they pulled out their media, what do you call it, electronic medium, their cell phone, and they went to it and pulled up information that they were going to use in their address. So here I am, and an old dog learned a new trick. So we are honored to welcome, well, not welcome, but to say all of the folks who have birthdays this month. I was advised to give them all at this meeting. We'll do it next week too. It's our Christmas holiday celebration. The birthdays this month are Ron Roberts, is on the 1st. Happy belated birthday, Ron, as always. That's always a wonderful time to get. And then, of course, Janine Sasser is on the 4th. Is that today? Janine here, President Janine, the First Lady President of our Rotary Club. And then also Palmer Bell, my boss, Palmer Bell. He's our chairman of our family of Rotary. His birthday is on the 6th, coming up in a day or two. All right, you're looking good, Palmer. Kathy Cole, President Kathy Cole, past President Kathy Cole. Her birthday is coming up, and it is on the 12th. I'm sorry if I'm having too much fun with that. And then also Tim Vivaret. Anybody know Tim? He had those Vivaret stuff. He did the maintenance on your automobile when you had a wreck and such like that. Tim Vivaret over on the west side. Tim retired. I'm not sure if he's still with his business or not, but we always enjoyed Tim. And then, of course, Jason Cutter. Where's Jason? Jason here? Jason Cutter. He's on the 31st. That's a New Year's Eve, baby.
Wow, his mama was proud. So again, happy birthday all. I just want to celebrate the birthday. And it is with a heavy heart that I have to make these announcements. Our hearts and condolences go out to the families of Admiral Watson and Lynn Watson, his lovely wife. I hope you all got a chance to know Admiral Watson and how such a fine man he was. If you knew him, you loved him. He was that kind of man. He was a warrior and a patriot and a very deserved, decorated hero in our U.S. Navy. And I just was hoping to share with you a few things about Admiral Watson, and I wish the younger Rotarians would have gotten to know him because he was that special a person and a Rotarian. He had served three tours in Vietnam, not just one. I had a father who did one. He did three, and 75 combat missions. The Bronze Star with V for valor, and he had also two Distinguished Flying Crosses, which is our very significant awards to naval aviators and all aviators for that matter. And so again, we're gonna miss Admiral Watson deeply. His services are this Friday, the 6th, let me make sure I'll give you the right information. It's at December 6th at Sacred Heart Catholic Church on Fleming Island, and I want to say it's at 10 a.m. So please honor Admiral Watson and his lovely wife, Lynn, for their years of being in this Rotary Club. Admiral Watson was 25, 30 years, maybe longer, Rotary Club. And I just like to share one story, personal story about Admiral Watson. I was so honored to be part of a meeting that he gave the presentation about his years in the Pentagon. Admiral Watson, after he did his 3 tours in Vietnam, came back and he served in the Pentagon during his career. And he gave a talk to our Rotary Club about the Iran, about Iraq, about Afghanistan. And he had personal inside knowledge. He didn't give away any secrets, of course, not the secret, but he gave some unique aspect of that issue, of the issue in the Middle East. And by that time, we were already in Iraq and Afghanistan. So I just will always be grateful for Admiral Watson for sharing such an incredible insight that he gained through his years of military service to our country. So like I say, he was a dedicated war hero and a wonderful Rotarian, and we'll always hold him dear to our hearts. I want to say too that I'm going on way too long. See, once you get up there, you can't stop. Okay. Mark, what's the update on your cousin, Robin? I know he goes, is he doing all right? He had Bob Hyde, past President Bob, had surgery this morning.
Yeah, I had heart surgery this morning. He's doing fine.
Good. So please keep the Hyde family in your hearts, and we'll make sure that Bob gets back here shortly. Are there any other announcements? Thank you so much, President Tim. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Mike. Normally, our president-elect would introduce our speaker today. We've got a little change in things. Raul wasn't able to make it. He might be with us via Zoom for a little bit, but I guess I'm going to introduce Sean, and then Sean's going to introduce our speaker. And I wanted to take a couple of minutes to introduce Sean. We became acquainted about 6 months ago, I'd say. I had a bit of business at the Police and Fire Pension Fund that I needed a seasoned investigator to help me work out the facts and details of. And I was referred to Sean by a friend, one of our advisory committee members. Sean came in, did an outstanding job for us. We're now members of the 200 together. Obviously, we're Rotarians together. It would be exciting sometime just to have you here to talk about private investigations. Maybe you would grace us with that one Wednesday. But without any further ado, I want to bring up the president-elect for the Downtown Rotary, Sean Mulholland.
thrilled to be here, and certainly I am careful not to take, my friend Mike Crumples and take any of the case time. One of the, it's funny looking around the room, after 36 years in Jacksonville, and 22 years in Rotary. Anytime you go to Rotary, you see people like Judge Wallace. I coached Judge Wallace's sons in basketball. So, I look about, where's Ed Blumberg? I'm sorry, yeah. Just a bunch of friends around, and I was with Carter at the door. I know Carter's dad, and anyway, there's no greater big small town in Jacksonville. Some of you may know my father-in-law, Brian Cooksey, God rest his soul, and I married his oldest daughter. I'll tell you one quick funny story. Mr. Cooksey said, I sent my oldest daughter to North Carolina to meet a Southern gentleman, and she brought a guy back from South Queens. 42 years later, I'm still the Yankee son-in-law, but Jacksonville is home. One of the reasons I'm here today is to thank the West Side Rotary Club. Because Tommy Grimes, many of you know, made a leap, I would say. Tommy would be mad at me for calling it a leap, but to contribute and make Rotary one of the only civic and service clubs in North Florida to get involved on the Emerald Trail. He saw it as transformational. And we made a commitment to raise $250,000 to be part of this project. And very much a collaborative effort. This is not Jacksonville Rotary. This is not the downtown club. We got participation from 11 different Rotary clubs around our district to raise this $250,000. Yesterday, I was at Southjax and picked up a check from them. And what I think you're gonna be quite excited about today, I'm gonna pass off to Kay. Kay is the CEO of Groundworks. Groundworks is the firm and she's gonna give you more details specifically about Groundworks. But this project, one of the most incredible things, and I'm sorry to do like my cropper, but after the meeting yesterday, an attorney named Ed Booth, some of you may know him, some of you, I think, work with him. He said to me, Sean, every Saturday morning, my wife and I get on our bikes and we ride the Emerald Trail. I said, Ed, I didn't think there was that much of it. Oh, we go here and we go there and then we go here. And I gotta tell you, someone ran over a sign on Beaver Street. We gotta get that fixed. Here is somebody that gave me firsthand experience that they are already, this project is already impacting members of our community. So I think it has an opportunity to really, really make a nice difference for us and be a tourist destination like other. Kay Ehas, come on, Kay.
Thank you, Sean. So the presentation, so you guys know about Groundwork Jacksonville. This is my third time here. So if you have questions, fine, but I'm not really going to talk about Groundwork Jacksonville, except that we're an awesome nonprofit and we're always looking for donations. That's what I will say. So today so you guys are getting a first look at the renderings from the Riverside Link, which is what you are contributing to. We're having a community meeting tomorrow night where we're going to unveil it to the community. So you can't have these right now. So this is like a first look, not to be shared yet. So just as a reminder, within 4 years of the city council passing the master plan, 40% of the project was underway, either in design, under construction, or constructed. So the yellow is what's constructed. The light green is what's under design, and the orange is under construction, which is McCoy's Creek. And that was before we got the $147 million federal grant. Next. So this is segment 3. If you look at the bottom
Patty, you're
right,
good.
Memorial Park,
They're looking at the PowerPoint.
which the Rotary
I
loves.
have to
Memorial
say you're
Park.
okay.
It has something to
Yeah.
do about that. It goes from there down Riverside Avenue to Ram, so we call that and then underneath, between Ram and Riverside and Park Street, that was completed by the city. I don't know if you've been out there, but it's a skateboard park and it's part of the trail, because the trail will go from Ram underneath the highway and it comes out at College Street where Riverside Park is. So if you haven't seen the skateboard park, just go see it. I don't skateboard, but it's just really cool when people are out there all the time. So it's a wonderful activation. And so then it's going to go by Riverside Park through, sorry, I got feedback, through Riverside, past an elementary school, down King Street past Cork Art District, and then it's going to connect over to Hollybrook Park where McCoy's Creek is. So it's a really important connection because McCoy's Creek is going to be awesome. Next. So that's kind of a bird's eye view. If you think about this segment, wait, I can't read it. Let me get over here. So the Garden Club on Riverside Ave is going by the Garden Club. It's going by Carmen Museum. Ram is up there where it says the St. John's Ferry area, how it goes underneath the bridge. And then those circles are the renderings I'm going to share with you now. Go ahead. So underneath the Floor Bridge at Riverside Avenue, you know, it's a lot. So first of all, what we're doing on Riverside Avenue, which is a state road, we are moving the curb to take out a lane so that we have enough room for the trail, because our goal is 14 feet of trail and trees and landscaping on both sides. And so the DOT has been great about letting us do that. But when you get underneath the floor warren on Riverside Avenue, you've got Ram on the left, and now you've got the Artist Walk on the right. So this is going to become an incredible pedestrian area. There's going to be people walking and biking all the time. And so the FDOT won't let us narrow it much under there. So our concept is to do what's called a shared street. So you have different materials that notify drivers, oh, wait a minute, I'm coming up on a special area and I have to really, really slow down. So that's the concept there. Next. So once you go under the Artist Walk, this is at Park Street at Riverside Park. This is just going to be our way of connecting to 5 Points, because we don't actually go to 5 Points, but we want to wayfind to 5 Points, make it a really, really special area. And the trail will continue underneath that bridge. So this is at Riverside Park is on your left. So we hired a landscape architecture firm out of New York who's worked with us on our McCoy's Creek project to actually upgrade our design standards. So the LaVille link is great, but we think it could be better going forward. And we always want to make sure we're elevating what we're doing. So we're no longer going to have a green stripe. As you can see here, where there's kind of intersections, we're going to be doing, it's kind of an emerald colored glass concrete composite. That'll be special areas. And then inside in the middle where you don't see this will be little emeralds made of that. So, you know, kind of a classier version. Plus, we'd have to keep painting that damn green stripe, right? Every time it fades. So we're trying to figure out low maintenance and a great trail system. But you can see that right here where you enter into the dog park area, we're making it even wider because again, you're going to have dogs and people walking and biking. Next. So we are going down one alley in Riverside between Ernest and College Streets, which Ed Pratt Daniels is very familiar with. And this is a rendering of what that might look like. It will be lit, but with low lighting, so it's not shining into people's houses. And we're also going to have where trail users can kind of pull off if or when a car might be using it to get into their backyard. But this alley is not used a lot by the abutting property owners for cars. Next. So this is now, you know, down here is Central Riverside. And as you pass Central Riverside, there are these kind of natural depressions, I think, that hold water when necessary. So we're going to kind of make it a special place where there's a boardwalk that you can go out there. Next. This is where it's going to be connecting to McCoy's Creek. It's actually a road that is only used by people that live there. So we're making it a shared street, but there's lots of room to add incredible landscaping and trees. So where we are, we're about to complete the 30% design for this segment. And then we're going to do 100% design. We're going to be procuring a design firm early next year, and through 2025, they'll finish the design and it'll be under construction in 2026. Next. So I want to talk a little bit about the federal grant, 147 million. You know, the city council also authorized 132 million in local option gas tax dollars for the trail. So 36 million of that is the match for the federal grant. And the light blue numbers up there are the trail segments that are under that federal grant. And we will be required to get it all done by September of 2031. So there's 15 miles we have to build in that short time frame. And we've really been working diligently about how we can make that happen. And when we first set out to do this, we had a 10-year timeline to finish. But you know, a lot of things don't happen in Jacksonville, but plans that sit on the shelf. And we wanted to make sure people understood this was actually going to happen. So it was 2019 to 2029. We're going to be 2 years late, which I don't think is too bad. And because we kind of lost 2 years when we were trying to negotiate with JTA on how we were going to have a partnership. Next. So one of the things I'm really excited about in this grant is that it also gives us money to help 7 neighborhoods create neighborhood revitalization plans, with them leading that effort. Because we believe they should be the architects of their neighborhood revitalization. So we're very excited about that. We've already hired an urban planner to help with that. And as soon as the grant agreement is in place, we're going to start that work. Next. So for those 4 other segments, we have started the planning, design, and engineering, which is environmental. It'll confirm trail alignment that's required when you join a federal grant. We're thinking the grant will be executed in April at the latest. And then again, we're going to be issuing an RFQ for design for segment 3. We are this may be too much detail, but segments 3 and 4 are going to be design, bid, build. So fully design it, bid it, and a contractor will build it. But segments 6, 7, and 8, we're doing construction manager at risk, which something new that I learned. You hire a separate design firm, but the construction manager comes in at like 30% design, and they start working together to make sure it's going to work so there's no delays or change orders or all that kind of stuff. And you can also, if it makes sense on a segment, that you could more quickly design a certain segment, that they could start constructing it. So it just gives us more flexibility on getting it done. And I think that's it. Thank you very much. And we are also getting a rendering made of the Memorial Park connection for you guys specifically. And there's going to be like a rotary emblem. That's what I hear that you guys want. So we're going to I'll share that.
Mhm.
Well, you know, once we get into 100% design, we work out many more of the details. Okay.
Yes, you guys are very good. You read another mic? I got it. You have one?
I think I heard you say that the federal money was 138 million.
147.
147. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Where is the majority of the expense in this thing? Is it the paving or acquiring the land or the design? And that is a bunch of money for a trail.
So, well, here's the thing though. It's in that grant, I think it's 155 million for design and construction of the trail. So you've got project administration money for both us and JTA. We have the neighborhood money. That 155 million is only 5% more than what the Villa Link ended up costing us. And prices have gone up a lot more than 5%. So one of our concerns is it going to be enough money? But we have the gas tax dollars if it's not, right? So if I had our trail project manager here, he could tell you much more about what it costs. But I think design is going to be 17 million fully. And then construction is like 117 million of that. So there is a lot of concrete. So that's one of the major expenses. I don't know. I wasn't prepared for that question to tell you specifically, but it's not, other trails cost even more money. So I feel like kind of worries me sometimes, because we really want this to be a nationally renowned trail system. And we want to design it to be that, because we think Jacksonville deserves that. So it may seem like a lot of money, but we're also talking about 15 miles of trail. And then the creek restoration projects are even more expensive. So McCoy's Creek, 3 miles to restore is about 120 million. And Hogan's Creek is probably going to be more than that because it's much more complicated. There's 2 areas that we have to daylight it because it's buried underground, which is causing flooding. One of which is the Arlington Expressway. And to raise that into a bridge is a significant cost.
Hey, quick question. So what's the plan for maintenance? I've seen things built in Jacksonville before, like the Riverwalk, and then we see them kind of decay and fall into the river. So what's the plan on this?
So what we realize is that if it's not maintained well, we won't be able to raise another dime, right? People, from the first presentation you've ever made, first question I got was about maintenance, because we know the city doesn't do it well. So we have met with the mayor's office and city council and presented a framework for what we want to do and what the city would do. We believe we should take over as much maintenance as we can to make sure it's maintained well. So we're working through that now. The hope is that it's a 50-50 split. What would the city normally kick in? And then we'll have to raise private dollars to supplement that. But we're looking at doing not just landscape maintenance, but toilet maintenance, you know, because number one, we're going to be responsive. And the city, it takes a while. And they just don't have enough staff. I mean, frankly, that's the bottom line. They don't have enough staff. So we're also going to be hiring folks that live in the urban neighborhoods to train and certify them in horticulture and landscape maintenance to work for us. So we've got a plan.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your presentation. My question is, who is going to head up the urban revitalization for those neighborhoods?
So what we're going to do is there are already existing neighborhood organizations, sometimes more than one in a neighborhood. We will form a steering committee. We're actually going to be paying them for their participation, and they're going to lead that effort because we really believe it needs to come from them. It needs to be their plan at the end of the day. So we have an urban planner on staff who will be managing that process, but then we're also going to be hiring some other consultants, whether it's an urban planning firm or a local videographer, photographer to kind of document it, a marketing firm, that sort of thing locally. But we are definitely going to have it be led by the neighborhoods. We're just facilitating. And we also have money in that grant for neighborhood capacity building. So we actually have money to help these neighborhood organizations grow, whether they don't have an ED and they need one, or they need additional staff. Because our goal would be that once these plans are done, they're the ones spearheading the implementation. I mean, we'll help, but they're the ones spearheading it. So we're going to be doing board and ED coaching, training, all that sort of thing to really prepare them.
So a question from back here, you've gone through this project very well, but in every project, there's that highlight moment that is just, oh my God, we finally did it. What's been the hardest part of this for you? You can be honest.
Working with public agencies is not the easiest thing to do. And I'll leave it at that.
We've got one over here.
Thank you for your presentation, and I may have missed this, you were here before, but are there opportunities for like small businesses like hot dog stands, snow cone people to be able to park and make money? And of course, there would be trash pickup and all that. So is there an opportunity to make the trail fun, like, meet some friends and maybe like a dog area too? Or mixed drinks or something, cocktail.
We definitely want to do that. We want just like the Riverside Arts Market, right? How they have vendors that come out and make money and some of them become brick and mortar. We want to do the same concept. So we don't have a plan exactly yet, but when we do those neighborhood revitalization plans, it's also going to include what goes along the trail and really have it be able to be small, like help start a small business. Yes, yes. So we didn't provide electricity on the first one. We're gonna go back and add it. So yes, we're gonna have all that in there to plan for that. There's a lot to think about, you guys.
Speaking of the electricity, what is the rule or what is the requirement if you've got an electric vehicle? Scooter, bicycle, skateboard, are they allowed on the trail?
Can I say TBD?
To be determined. So, thank you also. Where the water part starts and where does that end? And is it all where people can do kayaking or is it just you walk up and enjoy the water? And I assume that the walking part of the trail will also be alongside all that water area.
Yeah,
But-
can you go back to the trail map?
Cause I could.
So segment 10, right there where it says North Bank Riverwalk at Brooklyn. Right? I'm too short. So where, if you're on the North Bank Riverwalk, they are daylighting the creek. Like they've moved it to lower ground and they're daylighting it right now. And so from there all the way up to Stockton Street, you'll definitely be able to kayak. But as you go west of there, it's a series of lagoons and wetlands to add more storage capacity. So you may not be able to do it there, but the trail will follow that creek. And it'll do the same on Hogan's Creek. So there'll be kayakable parts for sure. It just may not be all of the entire creek. And both of these creeks are like 3 miles long.
What are some issues you might have with, say, homeless population or vagrants or things like that going forward? You're gonna provide electricity and water, that's gonna attract some people that maybe you don't want there. What's the plan for that?
So it's so interesting. I'm like, do I have to solve the homeless problem in Jacksonville? I wasn't thinking I had to take that on. But so my understanding, I don't have all the answers to that yet, although we know that it could be a problem that we want to avoid. My understanding is that if we are taking over maintenance as a nonprofit, we could just kick them out. But we also have the city. You guys know Al Ferraro, who's now the city's blight person. He's like on it. He's like really on that as well. So the state passed a law where the city now has to deal with it. They can't be on, homeless can't be on public property. So I think the city's still figuring that out. But what we've learned about trails is, number one, they make areas safer because you have more eyes on the ground. It's also lit. So where you might not want anybody, you don't put a bench, but our goal is that people feel comfortable using the trail. And so that's why we're figuring out both maintenance, security. We're thinking about, do we have ambassadors like Downtown Vision, right? So people have questions or to be checking those kinds of things out.
So I know there's a movement to connect the state rails to trails. I forget what they call the program. Would one
I
day,
think it's the East Coast Greenway, maybe?
the Greenway, that's it. Is there plans one day for the Emerald Trail to connect with the Florida Greenway?
So it will connect to the trail. I think coming down Main Street into the Springfield segment, there will be that connection.
Do we have any other questions? Mr. President, I know you do. You always wait to see if anybody else asks them first. You're very kind.
So, first of all, thank you. Wonderful presentation. And we got a little bit of money for you before you go.
What?
Money.
You're giving us money?
We're gonna give you money. I've got it. Slam, let's make a deal up here. I got it.
And can I just say this, you guys, so much for being so into this project and helping us, because that we've always wanted this to be a community project from the very beginning. And the fact that more and more community gets involved just makes our hearts full,
But it depends on how you answer this question.
Right.
So, you visited other trails around the country.
Yeah.
Tell us what you've seen. Tell us what we can anticipate. How good could this be?
I'm like, Melissa Ross would always when she still had her radio show, would always ask me to do these descriptions. I'm not good at that. But let me see. So I don't know how well I can do. I know you might have to hold the check. So if you go to the Atlanta Beltline, here's what I'll say. A lot of trails, ours is one of the harder trails to do. Like the Miami Underline, the Atlanta Beltline, Atlanta's on an abandoned rail line, so they've got the space already dedicated.
Right.
Miami is going under their transit that's overhead. We have to make our own way, so it's a little more challenging, especially getting enough room, right? So that's one of our challenges. But what I would say is if you go to the Miami Underline, it's fabulous. And they had just done a mile, but they had cement ping pong table, right? That you could play ping pong. Yeah. So what we want to do, I've always said this is a layered project. You get the big stuff done, then you see how people want to use it. You keep getting more information and you layer on the enhancements.
Right.
And that's going to be our approach.
So it becomes kind of organic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
As they use it, as they like it.
Yeah.
You start to build.
And
on
we
that.
keep getting that feedback, right? And then we respond to that. And so we're also going to make sure it's a 30-mile art gallery, that the art honors the history and culture of the neighborhoods it's going through.
Excellent.
Yeah. And if you go to, well, hopefully you'll all come to our Trailblazer event end of January, but we're going to be unveiling the Park Street Bridge mural, which is being done by a local Black artist. And it's kind of honoring the history of the villa in Brooklyn. It's pretty cool.
Economic impact, I don't know if I missed it when you were making your presentation, but can you project the kind of impact this is going to have once it's complete?
So I'll say that the Atlanta Beltline claims a 10-to-1 return on investment. I think when they had invested 600 million, they predicted a $10 billion return on investment. The New York High Line, I think they were predicting an increase in property values or something of 100,000. It ended up being 2 million. So it will have an economic impact. And one of the things I'd like to do is a study to figure that out. And actually NOAA, who's funding some of our stuff, wants to do an economic impact study. But what I want to do, so most people, when they do an impact study, they look at everything gentrifying. We don't want that to happen. So what I want to figure out is how, and plus I don't want to promise people this return when we might want this return, because we want long-term residents to stay and prosper. But there is so much vacant land and abandoned structures in the urban core, you can bring that economic diversity to infill. I mean, there's room for everybody. You just have to be intentional about keeping people in place. And so there will absolutely be an economic impact. I just can't tell you today what it will be.
One more question. So Sean mentioned you've got a neighbor or a friend that's cycling on the trail now. I'm not from Jacksonville, so I need to be specific about this. So if I were to go to the trail this weekend, where would I enter and what would I want to see? Is there some destination or place that I'd like to ride and visit based on the trail that's complete so far?
So near the Prime Osborne,
Okay.
right up from there, catty corner, is the city parking lot where you could park.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could get on the trail right in front of the Prime Osborne. You could go over the Park Street. So as soon as our trail opened,
Right.
the city in its infinite wisdom started constructing Park Street to make it a road diet, which will be great. But anyway, so you could kind of go over the bridge and see it. And that bridge is a huge space. It's a major event space that will be. So as you go down the trail, you will get to an overlook. What was a regular city retention pond that we have created a living shoreline. There's a deck. You can continue on and see the late bloomers butterfly garden, butterfly garden, and these magnificent oak trees. You continue on, you get to Florida Dwight Park, named after the first African-American recreational director in Jacksonville. And the city, because the trail was going through that, upgraded that park. It was a sad little park. Yeah. And then you continue on and you get to this area that has like 6 acres of vacant land and warehouses from the late 1800s that, because of the trail he's going to redevelop them as art, like all art. He wants to close off one block to have real cars for dining. He wants to have art makers, you know, so, and then you get onto the S-Line Rail Trail. It connects to the S-Line Rail Trail from there. And it's just pretty, you know. I can't say there's a real destination here, but
But there's a lot to see.
yeah, there's a lot to see.
I'm gonna
Absolutely.
let them decide. So we made a commitment of $25,000.
No, it was $250,000.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't $250,000.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't $250,000. We're not giving you $250,000. At least not today.
I'm sorry. I was confused.
We weren't getting the money anyway. But anyway, we got this check here, if they think we should give it to you. I think you did a good job, though. This is the last check. 3-year commitment, we did about $8,500 a year. This is the final check. Should we give her the money?
Yeah.
You sure? Thank you for being here. Joe, you're gonna get a picture? Already? Yeah, make sure the money. Yeah, girl. Thank you, everybody. Great job. All right, we're at the end of our program. I want to remind you all, we've got an outstanding Christmas party next week. My wife is coming. Get all dressed up, put on clean shirts. It's going to be a great time. Remember to bring those toys with you. Spend about $25, $30, get 3 toys. Don't have to wrap them. Just bring them. Christmas is about children. I want to thank Ken Baker. Is Ken here? Ken stood in for me last week, I guess it was. I got here late. He did an outstanding job. I wanted to thank Ken for that. And as always, we want to acknowledge the fine job that the team at Timaquana do. Tiffany, our banquet manager, and the service staff, give them a round of applause. All right, I want to remind you that on the 8th, that will be our next luncheon meeting. Our greeters will be Mary Pat Wallmeyer, our prayer, Tom Schneider. The pledge will be Palmer Bell, and Rob Frazier will lead us in the 4-way test. There'll be no meetings after the 11th for 3 weeks until the 8th of January. So December 18th, 25th, and January 1st will be our holiday break. I want to ask Allie if she would stand and lead us in the 4-way test of the things that we think, say, and do.
Isn't the truth? Fair to all concerned. To build goodwill and better friendships. Beneficial to all concerned. Is it fun?
Fun. All right, everybody, let's go make some magic. We'll see you next time.